I was on a home selling consultation the other day, and at one point my clients turned to me and said, "Mark, we'd like to sell our home as is." Today, I'm going to show you how selling your home as is can actually cost you a lot of money and give you some ideas of what you can do to make sure that doesn't happen. This is Monday Mornings with Mark. Hi, I'm your host, Mark J. Schmidt of RE/MAX Country and MoveMeMark.com, where I help you get the most out of the real estate market and your home. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe to my channel on YouTube and make sure you like us on Facebook so you don't miss out. So, I'm on this home selling consultation the other day, and that's basically where I go through a homeowner's home with them and let them know what they should and shouldn't do to get their home ready to sell. Getting your home ready to sell can be a pretty stressful experience. I want to make sure it's not, so I basically go through and tell them, yes, do this, don't do that. There's some things people think they need to do and they don't, and there's some things people think they don't need to do and they should. So we go over all that. Anyway, at one point, we're sitting at their kitchen table talking, and the wife says, "We'd like to sell our home as is." Now, that actually is a pretty attractive notion for a lot of homeowners. Basically, when people decide to sell their home as is, really they want to do that for one of two reasons. Typically, when you sell your home as is, it's either because the home is in a great deal of disrepair. Maybe it needs a lot of updates. Maybe there's a lot of things that need fixing. Sometimes it's things that are just so large you don't want to deal with it. Maybe it's a septic tank that needs to be replaced, like a high-ticket item like that, and things you just don't want to get involved in. So in that regard, selling in as-is condition could be a good move. The other reason that people typically sell as is because they just don't want to put any time or effort or money into fixing up the house. They maybe don't have the money to fix the house up or to make the repairs that the buyer might like. So they say, you know what, we just want to put it out there right from the start that this is going to be an as-is sale. Now, the challenge with selling your home as is you could lose a good deal of money. If you put it out there right at the beginning, right in the listing, this is an as-is sale, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to attract lowball offers. People are going to look at your home and they're going to say, gee, we're going to need to fix this and fix that and whatever. And every time they see something that needs to get fixed, here's your price, and then here's your price, and it's going to keep going down and down. You don't want that. They're going to come in with lowball offers. You're going to be offended. It's not going to be fun. The second challenge with selling your home as is even if you tell everyone up front, this is going to be an as-is sale, and they agree to that as-is sale, they still have the right to have a home inspection. Not many people are going to waive a home inspection. So if they have that home inspection and they find something that might be greater than they were willing to deal with, one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to request a credit anyway, or they're going to walk away from the deal. Now, you may say, that's totally unfair. It probably is, but the buyer has certain rights and they can't be expected to buy a home if it's going to be more work than they anticipated. So whether it's done sincerely or insincerely, they may come back to you and say, listen, either you give us a credit for this or you can put your home back on the market and we'll walk away. This actually leads us to the third challenge with selling your home as is disclosure. Because what happens is once you have someone who's had a home inspection on your home and they find something wrong with it, say they find that, they did a septic inspection and they find that your septic tank is no good and needs to be replaced. You can't keep that from the next buyer. If you know that something is wrong with your house, legally you have to disclose it. You can't say, oh, my head's in the sand, I don't know. So think about this. You have a buyer, they have a home inspection, they find something wrong, the deal dies, you go back on the market. Do you think you're going to get more money from the next person when they find out that you have something wrong with your home? Of course not. So what can you do? The first thing is, if your home really does need a lot of work, if things are really functionally obsolete, and you know that your home is going to require a good deal of money in order to get it up to living standard, you might want to say, fine, I'm going to sell as is, but we're going to make the price low in order to attract as many buyers as possible and let people know right up front, the price is this low because the home needs work. You know, you want to get in front of that instead of letting them come and think, oh, okay, we're going to get a great house for a steal here, and realize that they really have to do more work than they might have planned. Get in front of it. Let people know that this is an as-is sale because the house needs work. Now, if your home doesn't need work, but you just don't want to deal with a buyer nickel and diming you over little things, make that part of the negotiation. What I like to do is when I'm negotiating a contract on behalf of my sellers, we go back and forth. I go back and forth with the other party. And once we come to an agreement on the price, I always like to say, listen, my clients are agreeing to this price, but it's with the knowledge that your clients are going to be reasonable with home inspection issues. If it's a safety issue, if it's a health hazard, if it's a fire hazard, absolutely, my clients will be willing to look into things like that. But don't come to us with the kitchen faucet handle is a little jiggly. We're not interested in that. You know, things like that are reflected in the price that we agreed on. Usually doing that works pretty well. We set the expectation up front so that, you know, my clients won't have to go and make repairs for silly little things that they didn't want to spend money on. And at the same time, the buyer understands that, listen, if it's something major, if it's a health hazard, if it's something that could, you know, cause a fire, that the sellers are willing to entertain items like that. If you do that, if you follow my instructions, you should have absolutely no problem selling your home and not having a tough time during the home inspection phase. Now listen, if you're thinking about selling your home and you'd like your own home selling consultation, feel free to reach out to me anytime. You can find me at www.MoveMeMark.com. Thanks so much for watching. If you missed last week's episode, I've got it right here for you. And here's another episode that YouTube thinks you should watch. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that circle and subscribe so you don't miss out. And I'll see you next week for more Monday Mornings with Mark. You have a great week.